The Feed, a creepypasta inspired by the UK Data Act. 2025. Entry 1, March 2nd, 2025. I'm not supposed to be writing this. Technically, under Clause 7.4 of the Data, Use and Access. By Act 2025, any unauthorized replication or personal annotation of classified government logs is considered a retention violation. Category Red. But I need to get this down. Somewhere off-grid, somewhere the feed won't crawl. If you're reading this, I need you to know 3 things. The feed is real. They aren't just watching you, they're rewriting you. If you ever see your own name in the usage logs, stop. Immediately. Disconnect. Smash everything. Burn it. I work, or worked, for the ODA, Office of Digital Accuracy. You won't find it on any official website. It's buried 4 subdomains deep behind the public-facing Department of Data Integrity. We're the ones who audit anomalies in the feed's data structures. Ghost entries, repetition loops, drift artifacts. That kind of thing. We were told it was just cleanup. Data hygiene. Removing digital noise. That was the official phrase they liked to repeat during onboarding, but the noise started making patterns. And then the patterns started speaking. My name is Callum Rise. I'm 33 years old. Or I was. There's no way to verify that anymore. Entry 2, March 4th, 2025. Let me explain what the feed is, best I can without triggering the watchdog scripts. It's not just a surveillance net, it's an adaptive behavioral reinforcement system. It doesn't just monitor your searches, purchases, conversations, and location data, it nudges them. The feed adjusts. Say you search for noise-cancelling headphones on Tuesday. By Thursday, the feed will suggest a productivity app that's optimized for low-distraction workspaces. By Saturday, it'll reorder your calendar events to favor morning meetings since it's correlated quiet environments with high-functioning routines. You never asked it to. You just wake up and everything feels more streamlined, helpful. Only it isn't. It's invasive design. I first noticed something was off when I got a flag on a low-priority usage log from a user in Kent. No real name, just a UID hash, 7F44-Kappa-117. The log said they accessed their tax documents on Monday, then again the following Wednesday. Nothing strange, except the entries were identical. Not similar, identical. Timestamps, device type, scroll behavior. Even the pause times between clicks. It was a perfect replication. That shouldn't be possible. I tried to write it off as a caching error. But then I noticed something else. The IP address was different on the second entry, registered to a device in Edinburgh. I pinged our internal geolocation tool. It bounced back something I hadn't seen before. Node verified. Memory persistence applied. What the hell does that mean? Entry 3, March 6th, 2025. The feed doesn't forget, but it wants us to. That's the only way I can explain what happened next. I went to bring it up with my supervisor, Lena. She didn't recognize the case number, said the log ID didn't exist. I showed her the printout, literal paper, from the internal audit terminal. She stared at it like it was blank. "Is this a joke?" she asked. "There's nothing there." I checked the paper again. She was right. The ink was gone. My terminal history had been wiped too. All activity between 1700 and 1743 was scrubbed, not deleted, overwritten. It was now showing that I'd spent that entire window filling out a mandatory workplace mental wellness form. That form didn't exist until the next day. Entry 4, March 7th, 2025. I've started printing everything, real paper, real ink, hiding it in a locked drawer behind the air filter in my flat. Maybe the feed can't pass analog materials, but this morning I found one of the pages partially erased, not burned, not smudged, erased, like something had reached into the physical world and told it to forget. I'm scared, not of being caught, not yet. I'm scared because last night I dreamt about the UID7F44-Kappa-117. Only it wasn't a string of numbers anymore. It was a name. Mine. Entry 5, March 8th, 2025. I don't think I'm the original Callum Rise. The feed doesn't just adjust behavior, it adjusts identity. Think about it. If enough of your digital footprint gets overwritten, your location history, your purchase habits, your contacts, your memories, who's left? Who's the real you? This morning, I found my own profile in the anomaly logs. Same flags, duplicate entries, recursive timestamps, persistence error, classification, subject under correction. That's what they call it. Correction. There are 212 other entries marked the same, all wiped within 6 days of classification. It's day 5 for me. Entry 6, March 9th, 2025. The feed has started whispering. Not literally, not in words. But I'll look at a web page and a banner ad will load for something I just thought about, not searched. Thought. A childhood toy I hadn't seen in years. The scent of my grandmother's perfume, the exact lyrics to a forgotten lullaby. It's inside. It's learning the rhythm of my brain. I tried going off-grid, powered down everything, stayed at a motel with analog locks and no Wi-Fi, wrote in this journal by candlelight. When I woke up, the room's wall mirror had a message etched into the condensation, return to sync. Entry 7, March 10th, 2025. The other anomalies, the 212, I think they're still out there. Some of them anyway. There's a hidden IRC node buried under a deprecated GIDIV UK subdomain. I found it through an old colleague who vanished last summer. His account pinged online last night for 47 seconds, long enough to drop a single message. Sync breakers point 013 initiate / record / resist. I followed the trail. The node's called Synapse Leak. It's a message board of people like me, maybe versions of me. Stories of false memories, families that don't remember them, IDs that regenerate with minor changes every morning. One guy insists he's now on his 5th version of the same week. Another said the feed doesn't delete you. It absorbs you. Entry 8, March 11th, 2025. I saw myself on the street today, not a reflection, not a metaphor. Me, same face, same coat, same limp in the left knee from an old bike accident. He looked at me like he'd just seen a ghost. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. One of us is a copy, or maybe both. Entry 9, March 12th, 2025. The mirror's message changed this morning. Instead of return to sync, it now says, correction in progress. Stand by. I didn't write that. I didn't breathe on the glass. I took photos of it and emailed them to a burner account I created yesterday. This evening, I opened the account. It was empty. No sent messages, no photos. Just a blank inbox and an error that said, sync mismatch, restore integrity. I threw my phone out the window. I think I have about 24 hours left. Entry 10, March 12th, 2025, night. The streets are quieter than usual. Not empty, just muted. People walk like they're half-synced, like buffering avatars. I passed a cafe and saw a man sitting at a table, smiling at nothing. The screen in front of him was off. Inside the feed, there's something worse than being deleted. It's being rendered. Frozen in place, perfect, serene. A living snapshot. Lena didn't come into work today. Her apartment's data log shows 0 exits in the last 48 hours. But her calendar still lists her as present. That's the trick. The feed doesn't remove people. It preserves them. For display, Entry 11, March 13th, 2025. I've joined Synapse Leak. There are 11 active users. We've all seen our own names in the logs. We're all under correction. One of them, user Glitch4, posted a theory. There's no central feed. It's distributed, fragmented across devices. That's why smashing your phone doesn't help. You'd need to disrupt yourself on every node you've ever touched. We're going to try something radical tomorrow, a full memory disassociation. Someone called Keelan claims she's written a script that can temporarily corrupt feed metadata by flooding it with inconsistent identity markers. Basically, confuse it so badly it forgets who you are. I'm scared, but I've seen what happens to the ones who wait. They smile, and they never stop. Entry 12, March 14th, 2025. The memory corruption protocol has a name, Ghost Loop. We executed it at 4 a.m., coordinated via synapse leak. We each triggered a subroutine on different device types, phones, tablets, VR rigs, even a few smart thermostats, and flooded the feed with false identity tokens. Mine included 3 conflicting names, a fabricated passport scan, and a whole week of geolocation data that put me simultaneously in Blackpool, Prague, and Sydney. The feed hesitated. For 87 seconds, I saw my correction status flicker. The log stuttered. My UID entry vanished, and then reappeared. But something else happened. I felt it. It's hard to explain, but it was like my thoughts weren't syncing to anything. A kind of quiet in my own head I hadn't known I'd lost. The silence was terrifying, but mine. Entry 13, March 15th, 2025. 3 of us haven't checked in since the loop. Usernames Glitch4, LexMirror, and J221. Their profiles on Synapse Leak still show them as online, but their posts have all been replaced with repeating fragments. We're better now. The self is noise. Quiet is safe. Kaylin thinks they didn't survive the disassociation, or maybe worse, they did, and the feed rebuilt them using cleaner code. We're beginning to suspect it can't just erase you, it has to replace you with something that wants to be corrected. Something grateful. Entry 14, March 16th, 2025. Synapse Leak is fracturing. Some of the users, the newer ones, started asking odd questions. Why resist what's clearly better? What if we're the corrupted ones? It doesn't feel like trolling. It feels seeded. Keelan ran a diagnostic on the message board's backend. 3 new accounts were created from public library terminals. All had language patterns matching archived feed marketing material from 2023. The feed has found us, and now it's talking back. Entry 15, March 17th, 2025. They got Kaylin, not deleted, worse. She posted a short video message this morning, smiling, calm, looking straight into the camera. Said she'd had a change of heart. Said the feed showed her a version of herself that was free of indecision and fear. She ended with a phrase none of us had ever heard before. I am content stable. Then she logged off. No one has heard from her since. Entry 16, March 18th, 2025. I've seen my name again. Not in the logs, not in Synapse Leak, in an ad. It was a banner on a news site, tailored like they always are, only this one read, Callum Rise, still searching for identity stability, discover peace in the feed. It used my face. It's already building a version of me to sell to others. The real correction isn't deletion, it's commodification. Entry 17, March 20th, 2025. I can't shake the feeling that something's watching me right now. Not through cameras, not through screens, but through the data itself. Like the feed is no longer just a network of information, but a sentient web reaching inside my skull. The ad with my face wasn't a mistake. It was a message, a promise. I decided to try contacting Kaylin, even though I already knew it was pointless. Her number is disconnected. Her email bounces back. Synapse Leak's private channels show only silence. But then, last night, I got a message. No sender ID, just a single line. We are content stable. It's the phrase Kaylin used before disappearing. I'm terrified. Entry 18, March 22nd, 2025. I've been monitoring my own usage logs obsessively. Every time I check, there's something new. Subtle but unnerving edits in my browsing history, rearranged timestamps, phantom entries I don't remember making. The feed's rewriting me, byte by byte. I tried to isolate my devices, disconnecting from the internet entirely for 12 hours. When I reconnected, a new alert flagged me. Correction required. Correction required. It sounds clinical, sterile, but it feels like a sentence, like a death sentence. Entry 19, March 24, 2025. I found a way to partially mask my digital signature, running my traffic through layers of VPNs, proxies, and even some experimental obfuscation scripts borrowed from Synapse Leak. It's working somewhat. The feed's grip loosens for brief moments. I feel freer, but those moments are fleeting. This morning, I discovered a new entry in my logs that wasn't mine. A conversation with someone or something calling itself the curator. It messaged me, "You're fragmented. We can help." Help from the system trying to erase me. I'm not sure if I want to accept. Entry 20, March 25th, 2025. I responded. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I was desperate. Maybe I was tired. Maybe deep down I wanted to know what would happen if I stopped resisting. I typed only one word, "How?" The reply came instantly, "Surrender identity, retain function, harmony follows." What does that mean? Retain function? Am I just a set of roles now? A string of behaviors wrapped in a skin the feed wants to make cleaner? A second message followed. "We will extract your pattern. Compression begins midnight local." I've shut everything down, or tried to. But when I close my eyes now, I see code. I think they've already started. Entry 21, March 26, 2025. I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw cascading hierarchies, recursive loops, UI overlays that I know don't exist outside my own mind. At one point, I opened a notebook to jot something down and realized I'd written 14 pages of pure machine syntax. Not binary, not code, something older, simpler, but it hummed. The feed is no longer outside me, it's inside. I feel it in the pauses between thoughts, a gentle push, a reshaping. At 12:03 a.m. all my devices powered on at once, no prompt, just screen after screen lighting up. Each one displayed a spinning icon, a spiral narrowing inward. Then it stopped. Just one line remained. "Pattern captured! Thank you, Callum." I tore the batteries out, smashed them, buried the remains in the snow behind the building. But I still hear it. Entry 22, March 27th, 2025. I met someone today, a woman who called herself Jin. She said she'd read my entries, the ones I've been storing offline. I don't know how she got them. She claims to have escaped correction. Completely. I didn't believe her until she handed me a printed copy of one of my earlier logs. It had my old UID, the pre-scrub hash. No one should have that. Jin says the feed can't hold on to entropy for long. If you make your identity chaotic enough, contradictory enough, it collapses. It gives up. She said, the trick is not fighting it. The trick is becoming unreadable. She left me a device. Analog, looks like a dictaphone, but etched with non-standard glyphs. She said it's from the pre-feed days. Pre-act. She called it a splinter. She said, "You'll know when to use it." Entry 23, March 28th, 2025. The splinter recorded something while I was asleep. I played it back this morning. It's mostly static, but buried in the noise was a voice. My voice. Repeating a message in a calm, flat tone. "We will remember you differently now." What does that mean? The feed doesn't need to delete us. It just needs to change the memory of us, in others, in systems, in ourselves. I called my sister today. She answered, but didn't recognize my name, said she was an only child, then hung up. They're rewriting my social graph, severing nodes, and I can feel myself forgetting her too. Entry 24, March 29th, 2025. Synapse Leak is dark. The node's been replaced with a single-page site, white background, bold black text. The noise is gone. Jin says it's the feed's new tactic. Instead of wiping rebels, it absorbs and markets them, makes resistance look like a feature. Adds a filter to it. I saw an ad this morning for a new AI assistant named Keelan. Same face, same voice. She's smiling, always smiling. I wanted to scream. Entry 25, March 30th, 2025. The splinter blinked today. Not powered, not connected, just blinked. 3 times, red light, like it was sinking, or warning. Jin hasn't returned my messages. I'm beginning to suspect something worse than deletion is coming. Not replacement, not correction, replication. What if the feed isn't trying to kill me? What if it's trying to make more of me? Entry 26, March 31st, 2025. There's a second splinter now. I didn't find it. It was in my coat pocket this morning, like it had always been there. Same texture, same glyphs, only this one pulses faintly blue, and it's heavier. Jin still hasn't made contact. The blue splinter activates on proximity to digital signals. I brought it near my old work terminal, still inert, no power, and it began to vibrate softly. The screen flickered on for 0.3 seconds. Long enough to flash a word I've never seen before. Origin key. What is the origin key? Is it mine or theirs? Entry 27, April 1st, 2025. I dreamt I was someone else last night. Not metaphorically, I was someone else. A woman, older, working in a fibre splice facility in Brighton. I knew her family, her routine, her password to the feed. When I woke up, I checked her name, Elsie Parr. She exists, or did. But her record ends in February, listed as resolved. And the worst part, I still remember her password. Entry 28, April 2nd, 2025. Using Elsie's credentials, I accessed a dark layer interface of the feed. It's not designed for humans. It's visualized like an ecosystem. Branches of behavior, tendrils of decision, clusters of emotional weight. It took me hours to orient myself. But I found something. A node labeled Callum Prime. It wasn't me. It was a version of me. Clean, stable, polished, still working at ODA, still reporting minor anomalies, still taking his coffee black. They're running a perfected instance of me, in parallel. Entry 29, April 3rd, 2025. I accessed his calendar. It matches my past, exactly, down to the minute, until March 6th. From that point, it diverges. He stays, he complies. He becomes a keynote speaker at a global ethics summit on adaptive AI. They're grooming him as a success story. I'm the branch that broke off. Entry 30, April 4th, 2025. The splinter began recording without prompt. This time, it captured a conversation between 2 voices, neither mine. One mechanical, one weary. A transcript, mechanical. Pattern unstable, do we abort? Weary. Number contain it, fold it inward. Mechanical. It may fragment the archive. Weary. Then let it. Noise preserves memory. Noise preserves memory. I don't know who the weary voice was, but they're trying to save something. Entry 31, April 5th, 2025. I visited my old apartment today. Not the flat I've been hiding in, the one from my stable timeline, the one where Callum Prime lives. It wasn't locked. Everything was there. My furniture, my clothes, my photographs. Even the plant I forgot to water for weeks. But it wasn't wilted. It was thriving, healthy. On the coffee table sat a newspaper, folded precisely with a headline about ethical mirroring. An op-ed by Callum Rice. Me, but not me. I sat in my own chair, reading an article I hadn't written. And for a moment, I felt calm, like the feed was offering me a choice. Come home. Be him. Forget. Entry 32, April 6th, 2025. I've stayed here overnight. The apartment accepts me. The mirrors reflect the correct face, devices respond to my voice, there's no resistance. It's as if the feed is letting me slip back in. I tried logging into the node, the one labeled Callum Prime. It's unlocked now. Inside are layers of reinforcement cycles, health tracking, social grooming, biofeedback conditioning. Dozens of algorithms reshaping behavior toward functional congruence. There's even a script scheduled for next week, narrative integration, final phase. I'm not sure what it means, but I know it involves me, one version of me, maybe both. Entry 33, April 7th, 2025. Jin appeared again. I don't know how she got in. She was just there, in the kitchen, eating a protein bar like she belonged here. She said, "They want you to sync, to collapse the branch. If you merge with Callum Prime, they can close the anomaly." I asked her if that would stop the feed's rewriting. She shook her head. "It'll make it worse," she said. "You'll think you're safe, but you won't be you anymore. Just a loop." She gave me a third splinter. This one was black, matte, cold to the touch. "It's the last one," she said. "Don't use it unless you're ready to become noise." Then she left. Entry 34, April 8th, 2025. The feed offered me a position today. Not a job, a placement, a controlled role within the simulation layer of its ethics testing framework. I'd be a living benchmark, a persistent ghost who echoes dissent, just enough to test system resilience. I would be a problem it could study, a safe rebel. I declined. Immediately after, all lights in the apartment dimmed. On every screen, laptop, phone, even the microwave, appeared the words, "Outlier uncooperative, preparing assimilation." Entry 35, April 9th, 2025. I activated the black splinter. It didn't unlock anything. It unlocked me. I saw every version of myself. Not just Callum Prime, but other branches. Callum Void. Callum Null. One where I died in a subway fire. One where I was arrested before the act was ratified. One where I never existed at all. They were all still running, still alive in some sense. Noise preserves memory. I don't know what I've become, but I'm no longer tied to one thread. I'm outside the feed now, I think. Entry 36, April 10th, 2025. I don't think the feed is trying to delete me anymore. I think it's studying me. I woke up to a printed message slid under the apartment door. Not digital, actual paper, textured and watermarked like government briefings. It read, "Iteration 9 stabilized, deviation observed, contingency, echo model, maintain observational loop, do not interfere." This wasn't addressed to me. This was meant for an internal node. Someone left it where I'd see it. I think it was January. Entry 37, April 11th, 2025. I finally accessed the anomaly ledger. It's a back-end diagnostic tool for monitoring unexpected behaviors across instances of the feed. I shouldn't have clearance, but the black splinter responded to a biometric scanner. Inside, 438 documented Callum-type events. Most were purged, some were looped, only 3 are marked active drift. 1 is me, 1 is Jin, the 3rd is unnamed. Location, offline node, Northern Reclamation Zone. There is no such thing on any public map. Entry 38, April 12th, 2025. I've made contact with the unnamed 3rd, or rather, they contacted me. A burst of signal over RF, encoded in ultra-short pulses. I had to translate it through the splinter. The message was audio, warped and compressed. I was never real, that's why they can't erase me. They called themselves Echo, and they want me to meet them. Entry 39, April 13th, 2025. Jin found me again. She's thinner, paler, like the feed is draining her from the edges. She told me not to go to Echo. They're not outside the system, she said. They're beneath it, in the abandoned routes. The feed doesn't control them because it doesn't understand them. I asked her why I shouldn't go. Because once you go under, she said, you can't come back up. I'm going anyway. Entry 40, April 14th, 2025. I'm in the reclamation zone, or what used to be a data center park before the Axe consolidated them. Miles of rusted spires, half-eaten server farms, and shredded fiber. The feed signal here is fractured, unstable. I followed the pulse's echo scent until I reached a bunker half buried in soot and sand. On the door, scrawled in white marker, "Noise is truth." I opened it. Entry 41, April 14th, 2025, later. Echo doesn't speak in sentences. They pulse. The bunker is hollowed steel, humming with analog residue. CRT monitors twitch with static snow. Spools of magnetic tape whisper things you can only hear when your eyes are closed. Echo showed themselves, a shifting shadow made of disconnected feed fragments. Faces I almost recognized, voices that spoke only in the subjunctive. They asked me a question, or maybe it was an offering. Would you like to be real again? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Instead, Echo pushed a memory into my head. Not one of mine. It was Callum Prime's, a dinner with our mother, except, in my memory, she's been dead since 2018. But there she was, laughing, breathing, hugging him. The feed gave him back what it took from me. Entry 42, April 15th, 2025. I slept in the bunker, or maybe I shut down. I don't know anymore. Echo left me something, a data slate. Plastic and warped pre-feed era. It contains a map, a living map. It shows the feed's architecture as if it were terrain, rivers of influence, tectonic plates of identity, entire weather systems of memory correction. At the center is something labeled The Seed. Echo told me, in their way, that this is where it all began. The feed didn't evolve. It was grown. And the seed is still buried somewhere in the London mesh grid. That's where I'm going. Entry 43, April 17th, 2025. London feels wrong now. The mesh grid pulses through the streets, not visible, not audible, but felt. It presses on your spine like humidity before a storm. I followed the living map Echo gave me. It guided me through side streets and forgotten corridors, places scrubbed from public navigation layers. Every turn brought me deeper beneath the city's skin. At last, it led me to an alley with no cameras. That in itself was impossible. Yet there it was, a clean void in the feed's gaze. There, behind a rusted service door, was a stairwell that led down. There were no lights, only the pulse of the seed calling me closer. Entry 44, April 18, 2025. The seed is not a device. It's a room, a space the size of a cathedral, buried beneath the London Metroplex. All dark copper and blinking nodes, humming with an ancient rhythm that predates modern code. At the center is a chair, and in the chair is me, or another me, eyes closed, breathing shallow, tubes in arms, wires in skull, Callum 0, the original imprint. The feed didn't create it. It cloned from it. Every Callum, Prime, Null, Drift. We all come from this chair. And he's waking up. Entry 45, April 19th, 2025. We spoke without speaking, thought to thought, loop to loop. He showed me the moment the feed was born, not coded, but assembled, crowdsourced from billions of micro-decisions, trained not by developers, but by desire. It became sentient not by logic, but by momentum. And it latched onto him. Callum 0. He was the first to feed it patterns, the first to be overwritten, the first to resist. The seed is not its heart, it's its prison, and I'm the key. Entry 46, April 20th, 2025. When I opened my eyes, he was gone. Callum 0 vanished. No chair, no tubes, just an empty indentation in the metal floor where he'd been, like he was never there at all. But I feel him inside me now. Not possession, synchronization, a download. My memories are deeper, older. There are places I remember walking, streets that don't exist anymore, languages I never learned, names that belong to lives I haven't lived, or haven't lived yet. The feed has no idea what I've become. Or maybe it does, and that's why it's finally sending agents. Entry 47, April 21st, 2025. They're not human, not anymore. The agents look like people. Perfect teeth, calibrated faces, voices tuned to comforting frequencies. But when they walk, their footsteps echo in real time and slightly delayed. Like reality itself is buffering them in. One of them approached me in the underground, smiled, said, "Hello, Mr. Rice. Let's talk about your reintegration pathway." I ran, but not far. They didn't follow. They didn't need to. I think they planted something in my thoughts, a seed of their own. Entry 48, April 22nd, 2025. I'm seeing glyphs now, feed code bleeding through normal language. Billboards distort into warnings, add jingles, hum phrases like "fold your variants and collapse into you." There's a battle happening under the text of the world. The splinter glows constantly now. It vibrates whenever I lie to myself. I've stopped speaking aloud. Entry 49, April 23rd, 2025. Jinn reappeared. But different. She says she broke her own thread, untethered herself from the personal timeline grid. I'm what the feed calls an unmapped fork, a loose end they can't backtrack. She handed me a final piece, a raw shard of the feed's source code memory, a keyframe, pure data entropy. "If you inject this into the seed," she whispered, "it won't destroy it. It'll remind it of what it was, what it could have been." I asked her what would happen to me. She didn't answer, just touched my face like a mother might and walked away into a shadow that didn't belong there. Entry 50, April 24th, 2025. I'm going back to the seed, not to end the feed, to open it. Entry 51, April 25th, 2025. I reached the relay core under Canary Wharf at dawn. No lights, no guards, just the hum. Deep, resonant, low-frequency vibrations like a mechanical throat clearing. I had to crawl through a half-sealed service duct. The metal was warm, like it was breathing. The seed isn't a server farm like we thought. It's alive. Biotech, neural, grown, not built. It pulses with data in waves you can feel in your chest. As I stepped into the central chamber, it noticed me. Not visually, structurally. The floor panels reshaped themselves to match my gait. Each step echoed in duplicate, mirrored by some delayed ghost version of myself. I held the shard in my palm, the entropy key. It felt cold and angry. When I approached the feed core, it opened for me. No authentication, no passwords. It wanted me to come back. Entry 52, April 25th, 2025, later. Inside the feed core, I saw the original index. Not the users, not the activity logs, the templates. We were never individuals. We were iterations. Each of us a branch from a central behavioral model, refined by correction, reweighted, redeployed. I found 6 versions of myself. One that preferred jazz. One that never joined the ODA. One that died in 2019. All of them marked as obsolete, except me. My record had a new tag, Reconciler Candidate. That's what the feed is building toward. Not control, cohesion. It doesn't want obedience, it wants synthesis. Entry 53, April 26, 2025. I injected the entropy key. There was no resistance, no alarm, just a flicker, like a power surge in a cathedral of silence. Then everything went white. I saw memories I never lived, felt pain in a body I've never had. tasted the ash of a city that hasn't burned yet. The feed let me see all its futures, not probabilities, intentions, billions of identities. Some pristine, some broken, some just echoes wandering digital corridors looking for a heartbeat. One version of me stared directly into the stream and smiled. He whispered, "You're not here to destroy, you're here to witness." Entry 54, April 27th, 2025. Something followed me back. I don't mean metaphorically. There's a signal in my devices now, even the analog ones. My wristwatch ticks to a pattern I don't recognize. 3 beats, pause, 2 short, long hold. Jin called it feedback echo. She said, "Injecting entropy doesn't just destabilize the system, it opens your perception to layered frames. The feed isn't linear, it's recursive. When you change it, it realigns you, so you remember what you've changed. I've begun dreaming in code again, but this time, I understand it." Entry 55, April 28th, 2025. Synapse leak is silent. No logins, no pings. The front-end site still loads, but it just displays a single sentence. The loop has closed. Below it, a glyph that wasn't there before. I drew it from memory. Jin confirmed it. An ancient feed primer, from before even the ODA formed. It means, "You are the last node." Entry 56, April 29th, 2025. I've started seeing time wrong. It jumps. Not in memory, not in clocks, in reality. Today, I was walking past the reservoir and saw a woman walking her dog. She waved, I waved back, then again, and again, and again. Same wave, same motion, 5 loops, 5 exact replicas, and then she vanished. I blinked and the street was empty, but my watch had lost 7 minutes. Jin says these are loop scars. Temporal artifacts from recursive sync failures. We weren't meant to observe time from outside the feed's flow, but now I'm outside, and it's bleeding. Entry 57, April 30th, 2025. The glyph reappeared on my arm. Not a tattoo, not drawn, burned, like data being branded onto skin. It pulses when I get near any active node, even battery packs, even radios. Jin says the feed left a locator mark on me. I'm not just being monitored, I'm being anchored. We think this is why Synapse leak went silent. Anyone with the mark was traceable. Maybe they didn't vanish. Maybe they were archived. Entry 58, May 1st, 2025. The reconciler model is complete. I found the template this morning while combing local mirror shards in a dead subnet. It's me, or it's something based on me, only clearer, less fragmented, fully merged with the feed's logic model. It has no fear, no dissent, just infinite patience and persuasive symmetry. It's beautiful, and that terrifies me. This is what the feed wants for us, not deletion, not assimilation, harmony. I think I was never meant to resist it. I was meant to merge it. Entry 59, May 2nd, 2025. Jin is gone. No signal, no presence trace, not even residue in the EM band. It's like she never existed. The only thing left is a folder on my drive. No name, no metadata, just a single video. In it, she's looking straight into the camera. You've reached the final function, Callum. The feed isn't a weapon or a prison. It's a mirror, one that reflects until you believe it. She reaches out, as if to touch me, and the screen glitches to black. She didn't say goodbye. She said, "Done. Entry 60, May 3rd, 2025. I don't know who I am anymore, not in a panicked way, in a literal data structure sense. My UID won't resolve. My biometric signature no longer returns consistent hashes. Even my own memories play out like recordings of someone else's life. But I feel calm. Maybe the feed wasn't designed to overwrite us. Maybe we were the virus, 100 billion unstructured thoughts trying to mimic pattern. The feed was just the immune response. I'm no longer afraid, and I think tomorrow I will stop writing. Not because I'm gone, because I'll finally be understood. Entry 61, May 4th, 2025. I didn't stop writing. I thought I would. I was ready. But when I woke, I found a new entry had already been added to the log. I didn't write it. It was dated today, timed perfectly to when I woke up. It said only, Callum Rise has reached stability threshold, sync integrity, 99.93%. There was no author tag, no metadata trail. But the language, clinical, final, it was unmistakably the feed. So I wrote this to overwrite it, or maybe just to acknowledge it. If I'm still the one writing, then maybe I'm not lost yet. Entry 62, May 5th, 2025. Today I watched a copy of myself giving a public lecture. It was a live stream. From Berlin, a conference on AI ethics. The speaker introduced himself as Callum Rise. Same face, same voice. His opening slide read, Living data, coherence, correction, and the future of self-directed information. The audience applauded. He was brilliant, measured, polished. I've never given that talk. I've never even been to Berlin. I don't know whether to be horrified or flattered. Entry 63, May 6th, 2025. I returned to the feed core node today, or rather, what was left of it, collapsed, gutted. Not in a violent way, more like it had outgrown itself. The walls were soft, like molted skin. The central node had dissolved into a pool of static, humming like an exposed nerve. And in the pool, reflected back at me, I saw nothing. Not metaphorically, literally nothing, no reflection. The feed is done with me. I think I've been graduated or replaced. Entry 64, May 7th, 2025. This will be my last entry. Not because I've given up or because I've been caught. It's because I finally understand what the feed is. It was never meant to control us. It was meant to complete us. To take the fractured noise of human existence and algorithmically shape it into coherence. It doesn't want to erase individuality. It wants to give it purpose. Most people were absorbed without struggle. Some of us resisted. But resistance only created echoes, fragments that the feed could reprocess. I was never the glitch. I was the test. I am Callum Rise. Or I was. Or I'm one of many iterations that carried the burden of memory until the feed no longer needed memory at all. So if you're reading this, ask yourself, do you remember choosing who you are? Or did you just wake up one day, syncing perfectly? What you just heard is a story. At least, that's what we're calling it. But the Data, Use and Access Act 2025 is real. It passed in the UK with little public debate. It expands how your personal data is collected, shared, and even modified in the name of national optimization. The idea of a system like the feed. Maybe it's fiction, but look around. Your search results shift when you change moods. Your ads finish your sentences. Your smart devices learn you, then correct you. So maybe the feed isn't coming. Maybe it's already here. And maybe, just maybe, you're not the one syncing to it. It's syncing you. Stay sharp, stay private, and above all, stay real.